Welcome to the SpeakUp Podcast, where we discuss the occult, holistic health, real-life situations, spirituality, and many more exciting topics. Speak up and speak up the truth with your host, Excellence.
Hello, everyone. This is the SpeakUp Podcast, Season 1. We're still in Season 1, and I have a special guest here, and her name is Anneke Lucas, and she's from Belgium, and she's an author, a speaker, advocate for child sex trafficking victims, and creator of the Unconditional Model. And she has been she survived being sold by a family member as a child sex slave to a pedophile network. So this is really a very controversial subject here. And thank you for coming to the show. And so let's talk more about your life. What happened when you were 6 years old? That's what I've seen here. And also you have a book as well. I forgot to mention. Her book is Quest for Love. It's been out for, I think, since 2022, right?
That's right.
Right. So make sure you get the book. Very interesting. And so let's go with the so what I see here, based on your book and your the interviews I've seen, because you've done a lot of interviews, and you've been a victim of child sex, a victim from a pedophile network at the age of 6, and your mother sold you. But what really happened in that point, like in that situation? Can you give us more details about this?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
So my mother had me by herself in 1963 in Belgium, and currently I live in the United States. Okay, but yes, I was born in Belgium, and so my mother had me by herself. She's not well mentally, that's for sure. And so there was already abuse in the family. And then she was married when I was 3 to my stepfather, and then we moved, and then there was a couple there's a woman that came to clean our house, and then she and her husband would take me, and they would have me for weekends and everything, and they would want to take me on outings, and I didn't like them, but I had to go. And after a year of outings with this couple, he raped me, and they started taking me to organized events. So immediately, this was extreme. They took me, the husband, like not her, but the husband, and took me and a few other girls to an event in a castle. And immediately I was extremely abused. And
Okay.
I tried to tell my mother what had happened, and somehow my mother then bought a car and then ended up taking over, ended up driving me to places, dropping me off. Normally she would then, leave me overnight, and she would pick me up at dawn. That was the idea, that she would be waiting for me as soon as it became dawn outside, and then would take me back home. And then I had a normal life. And then often the weekends, or sometimes it could be in the daytime with one person, or it could be in the weekends with at orgies where they would bring out children at the very end, where I, as a then very young child, 6, 7, 8, was used to be with men and position them so that they would be filmed or photographed, so that this material could be used against them as blackmail. And it was very much about climbing. And the person who ran this network in Belgium was the then Minister of National Defense. he was also prime minister twice. He was a famous, big politician in Belgium. And he did that at the behest of the royals, who were involved, as well as other nobles in different ways. And then what we had in this club, where they had the orgies and everything, that was very much people that were up and coming in business, in government, in judiciary, in police. So we had the top of the Belgian elite that was there, also doctors, lawyers, and so forth. And, the people that were the most brutal got ahead the most. And the pedophilia really was the tool, the main tool, to compromise everybody, so that in that world of psychopaths, nobody's anybody's friends, but everybody has got something over you. So that's what was done in Belgium. It could be happening in castles or bars, or in villas. Usually, though, where I was taken were very nice places. So as the Belgian, say, network, they were also connected in with a more global, farther reaching network. And then in 1972, I came across an American billionaire that was there for the Bilderberg meeting. Then from then on, billionaire wanted to make me his elite slave. And so then I was trafficked around Europe and to the United States. And then I was going to be I was specially trained in Germany in the mind control program. And after 1 year, I rebelled, you could say. I was kind of kicked out of that core group of the global elite.
Mhm.
And in the meanwhile, I recognized many people that were celebrities at that time. Also now from the celebrity side in Belgium, I just saw the business side. Now I was meeting the celebrity side, but also politicians, also royalty. And then in Belgium, the last year, when I was kind of kicked back into the Belgian network, as when they were finished with me at age 10, I spent 1 more year, and that's where my book begins. So it's Quest for Love, and it's a memoir of a child sex slave. And it's really about the person that came into the network then as a perpetrator, but he was only 20 years old. He was a gangster. And it's really this gangster who was using me to learn about this network and just trying to see if he wanted to be involved, kind of. And he sort of had power, which I couldn't understand, because he was so young, but he was very dangerous. So he wasn't afraid to kill anybody. So he had respect because of that. And so after, so he took an interest in me, and then that became extremely violent, and would have led to my certain death, except that at the very last minute, he had a change of heart. And that change of heart had him then negotiate with the politician who was then running the Belgian network to get me out.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. But the thing is, for all the things that happened since your mom sold you as a sex slave, um, do you forgive her, or do you feel like, do you have a grudge? Do you still like angry at her, or how do you feel about this
No, I
situation
did
with your
forgive my
mom?
mother. I mean, the trauma, it's important not to bypass any of the trauma, because you do have to heal.
Okay.
So when you do get angry, it's sort of, when I do get angry at my mother, it's because some things come up, and it's part of this healing process to get in touch with all the feelings that had to be suppressed because of the things that she did to me. So
Okay.
it's just that the anger in this sort of healing sense really serves to put the responsibility where it belongs. Because when you get abused, you think it's your fault. As a child, you think it's your fault, and you think you did something to deserve it, even if you didn't. And then you start to also believe that you're not worthy of being loved. And it comes with a whole lot of messages. So her abuse and the abuse of the men in the network came with a whole lot of messages that I had to carry. And the healing process releases you from the lies that you have to accept about yourself and the beliefs that you have to adopt just to survive, and sort of brings you in real time with the, you know, the perspective that is needed to help the child understand, that
Mm-hmm.
no. So the anger will come in the healing process, but in general, absolutely, I've forgiven my mother, and
Okay.
I'm glad that I had an opportunity to tell her before she died.
Before she died. Okay. Okay. That's good to know. Um, what decides you to publicly, share this, your story? Because it's really a very controversial thing, and it's a taboo. So they're trying to cover up this, this thing going on right now, as you can see with the Epstein files and all that. What made you like, okay, I'm putting my foot down. I have to tell the story to the public.
Yes, I think I would have never gone public if it wasn't for exactly the fact that it's true, and that I think if it would be, if everybody would know about it, then the world would look differently.
Yeah, something will change. You're right, right.
And if everybody would know about it and care, then we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in, because these
Mm,
people who hog the power and use pedophilia as a tool to maintain the power, which then means that people that get power are pedophiles, and that's the problem there, is that it was very much like, it's my story, it's not my fault that these people were in it.
mm-hmm,
And I'm a writer. I was accepted at American Film Institute as a writer, as a screenwriter, and without having finished high school. And I just always had a facility with writing, and because I love to write, I found that there's really hardly any stories that are more impactful than my own. So as I was healing, and of course writing was a big part of healing as well, it just came kind of naturally to me. And then I didn't mean to go public. In fact, I was pressured to go public when the Dutroux case came out in Belgium in 1996. Now, that was international. It was the same kind of case, but what they had caught a small pimp for the network called Marc Dutroux. And in Belgium, then they'd found 4 bodies of little girls. So those girls were dead. They had been kidnapped, so their parents were, so there were grieving parents, which, in my case, if I would have died in the network, I would not have had grieving parents, because it was my own parents that, sold me. But these kids, Marc Dutroux got it in his head to kidnap children and then build dungeons to keep them in his home. And when he was caught, it was worldwide news. And then in the years after, I met several people that were involved, in either to try to bring this to the public, and also some other survivors. And one of them, who had gone public then, urged me to go public. And I felt that I couldn't do it. I wasn't ready. I wasn't, healed enough. I felt that because of the guilt complex that I had, I knew that I would be attacked, because I'd seen that happen to those survivors in the Dutroux case. That was really, really awful what happened. So I wanted to be ready. And then when I was ready, I wasn't also seeking to go public with my story, but I was at the time bringing yoga into the prisons. And I was doing an interview. I was being interviewed about that. And then it was just a situation where I was just not hiding. I just didn't shy away from the question that was being asked. I just answered it. And then that became the title of that article, and then from there on out, little by little, I got asked, for either articles, or then in 2016, I did this black and white video that sort of went viral. Then suddenly, and that was right around Pizzagate. So then there was this complete, beginning of awareness of this subject. Meanwhile, my video was going viral, and then I had a TED Talk, and, I did have that TEDx talk, but every step along the way, I should say that, I did as extreme as my story is, it didn't grow exponentially at all.
Okay.
I've been public now for 13 years, and I don't mind. I'm not here to be big. I'm just telling the truth. But I
Right.
do notice that there's many attempts in many weird ways to just hide my story or hide me.
Right. Okay. And what are the misconceptions do people have about your experience? Like, do you think people are convinced with your story, or is it like mixed emotions? Like, okay, maybe she's not telling the truth because there's a lot of, like, big people involved, and maybe she's trying to like pull people down, like, from the top. Or what do you think about this? Or if you have any response from people telling you stuff, like, do you have anything that you could share with us? Like, how do you feel about this? Like, do you get a lot of negative
Oh, yeah.
you get a lot of negative comments from people?
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I waited so long. I was healing. I started healing in 88. I went to therapy in 88. So I had already been in therapy for 25 years by the time I felt ready to go public. So that's a
Okay.
really big journey. And that was 13 years ago. So now it's 39. So it's a really big journey to heal from this. And it is obviously extremely difficult. And because the trauma is so extreme, but also there's trauma inflicted on purpose, also to instill programs in you to make sure that you will not speak. That's a lot of the stuff that goes on in the mind control, is that you are tortured, but it's with very specific and very scientific results. And a lot is done to make sure that you'll never speak out. And we're not talking publicly speaking out. You get dissociated and you get electrocuted to make sure that you'll not remember, for example, to wipe out things that have happened to you, so you won't remember
Memories.
the
Okay.
famous people, for example. Or you get electrocuted to be tortured to instill some very deep message that if you speak, you're going to get punished. Or what I was told in Belgium a lot was, if you speak, not only are you going to get punished, but the person that you speak to is going to get punished. And we have people everywhere, and everything always comes back to us. And then they were also doing such horrific things that I knew that they weren't making, it wasn't an idle threat. So there was so much programming and torture, really, to make sure that I would not speak out in the first place. Then when I started to speak out, I had seen how the survivors in the Dutroux case were treated. That was really, really badly, how they were not believed. So I expected when I went public that nobody would believe me. And I was ready for that. So in a way, it's more like I'm focused more on the positive, because I've always been really surprised how open people are and how much they do believe it, because I understand that it's hard to believe. Obviously,
Right.
it's so extreme. It's the best. I think the extreme nature of the abuse is sort of the best mantle of the best cover anyway for the perpetrators. And the other thing that a lot of the perpetrators have is that the fact that they're rich and famous really in itself is a great cover because it means a lot of people look up to them and want to be like them. And
Right.
there lies the problem that, yes, I'm not trying to pull anybody down. In fact, in the beginning, I was saying I'm never going to name anyone because it's not about that. It's about understanding that this exists. But I tell you, I've been so incredibly pressured to name names.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a little bit fallen for it, but it wasn't really the idea initially. I didn't, and it's still really for me not about the names, because if you name names or not, these people are not going to be made accountable.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because you
And
mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
because I want to say that other survivors have been naming perpetrators. There were survivors writing about this in the 80s, and they were naming everybody. Everybody has been named. So the fact that Gerald Ford was named as a perpetrator by several survivors in the 1980s, that went public, that was on local news. They wrote books about it, and yet nowhere in the mainstream or in the alternative media will you see the name Gerald Ford as a perpetrator. He is not going to be presented as such. He's going to be presented first and foremost as a former president, etc. And so it goes for many. And of course, if you touch on the reputation of somebody who's very big and powerful, that's why it would be so difficult to believe. I understand that, but that's not my motive at all. And I hope that I have healed enough that I can express myself eloquently enough that people understand also that, no, it's not my motive. I'm not here to get revenge in any way. And that would not be smart anyway. You don't want to try to go and get revenge upon the most powerful people on
No.
earth.
No, it's very dangerous.
Yes, it's dangerous. And it's hard enough, and the reason though is really because it did happen. It is the truth. Damn
Right.
it. I'm talking about it, whether you like it or not.
Right. Wow. Because I've seen you've done a lot of interviews, so I thank you for your courage. Because it's really I think you're the only one right now that I've seen. I seen a few out there, but like you're the one who's out there, like with the interviews with the independent podcasters and all that. I've seen some interviews on Rumble and YouTube. But they're not getting some have a lot of views, a few don't, but I understand because they're trying to like shadow ban. They don't want people to know. A lot of people, they don't want it to be mainstream.
No, there's other survivors that are out there that are pretty visible.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's Kathy O'Brien started speaking out in the 90s, and so she's still out there speaking, still doing podcast interviews. And then I was thinking of Bryce Taylor, who was also coming out in the 90s and wrote her books in the 90s, but she's not public anymore.
No, she's not public anymore. Yeah. Okay.
And then there were people before them, you see.
Yeah, before them. Yeah.
People speaking out.
Okay. Because you mentioned like big names of a few interviews, like well, I consider him like an evil person because his name is you mentioned David Rockefeller, and there's also here in Canada you mentioned the ex Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's son as well. That was a big shocker. That was a big shocker.
Father, you mean his father? Yeah.
Yeah, his father. Sorry, yeah, Justin Trudeau's father. Sorry, yeah. So it's really.
Pierre Trudeau was also named by Kathy O'Brien as a perpetrator. It turns out.
Wow. It's wow. Because it's kind of weird because what you see on TV is not exactly what they really portray that person. So it's like.
Never.
It's like they're actors on TV. It's like we're watching a movie, and
that's exactly
it's crazy.
And we don't know who these people are, is the truth.
And the public, they worship these people, and oh, he's the best, he's this, he's that, he was a good president or prime minister, or he was a great actor, a great singer, but it's not what it is behind closed doors.
That's right. And behind closed doors, and it's the pedophilia is really protecting the people that control those politicians.
Mhm.
So because they're pedophiles, they get ahead, and then they indeed have to play a role, which gets them the fame and whatever it is that they want, the power and the money or whatever it is, whatever it is
Yeah.
that people want. But they're also controlled, and so what they ultimately do is less coming from them, but they get all the accolades from the public. And then public think that he did this and he did that, and then there's certain personal elements that may appeal to people, but it is all an act. And the
Right.
truth is that we don't really know these people behind the scenes.
Right. And there's people like they want to be famous, rich and famous, and they'll do anything just to get in that, position. And it's really sad. It's like you're selling out. You're like, that's the thing where, well, when people say that you're selling your soul, like you're actually selling something that you're putting in a situation that you might harm a lot of people, and you're deceiving a lot of people as well.
And
So
that's
that's,
exactly it.
yeah.
And that
So
is
that's
exactly it. You're selling your soul. And that, I'm sorry to say it gets quite.
say it.
It's not. See, some of these things you think it's too grotesque to be true. It's like, I wish I could make it a little bit more interesting and, a little more creative. But the truth is, no, they do sell their soul.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
sort of part of what happens. There's rituals around, the selling
Yeah,
their soul.
rituals.
I
Yeah.
was supposed to be one of them. So I was also
Mm.
supposed to be selling my soul. That's what happened. It didn't work out.
Okay, but you mentioned rituals. Like, is it really true with this Illuminati ritual or satanic rituals, and there's a lot of things saying on the internet. The internet, I can't really uh consider the internet sometimes factual. Especially on social media, because the algorithms sometimes they push certain narratives to the public.
That's right. And that's really the problem also with this subject, is that a lot of what is happening now that the Epstein files have sort of opened, changed the Overton window a little bit, and people are saying, no, this is really awful and this is really happening and children are not safe. And these people that are so powerful, they are harming children. So now that is being known. And there's worse elements that have come forward through what we've seen from the Epstein files as well. But that's what I'm saying. I wish it wasn't so grotesque, and I wish it wasn't so by rote. But so there is some religion around it that's very dark. It's a secret religion.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a secret religion for the people that they might be Catholics in their front life, or they might be whatever they are. They're not going to openly say that they're whatever it is. I didn't hear the words Illuminati or satanic, but what I
Yeah.
saw certainly was extremely dark. And so there are sacrifices made to a dark lord.
Okay. Because I heard it's Ball, or maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's
Well, I didn't
Ball.
hear that name
You didn't
either.
hear that? Yeah, maybe it's a
No.
secret. It's a
No,
secret.
because it's
Yeah.
not like you see this creature emerge. That didn't happen. But but on the one hand, what's happening right now, because people are opening up to the subject, there's a lot of crazy stories coming in as well
Right.
to confuse everything and to
Yes.
make you wonder about the whole thing, which is done on purpose. So I don't know about all the survivors that are out there, if they're all reliable, and I don't know about all the podcasters that
Yeah.
are supposedly addressing this subject, if they're reliable. But these rituals, yeah,
How did it happen? Like the rituals,
well, it's very secret.
it's very secret.
Very
Okay.
secret. It's all, I mean, the whole thing is secret. The whole, everything that I attended was completely secret, because obviously you're, for example, on the orgy level, say there's an orgy, I would be held back with a handler in a separate room until the people that were not pedophiles or that were not ready were gone. So then I would be held back until the late hours when only the pedophiles remained. Only the people that were in the know would remain. And then from those in the know, in Belgium, this didn't really happen. So in Belgium, you had extreme sadists among the noblemen. And I think that these nobility maybe were also in that religion, that secret religion, but I did personally not experience that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the global elite, there I did experience these rituals. And those are awful. Those are absolutely horrific. And it has to do with the devil, whatever they call him. It's Satan, or
Something,
I'm
yeah,
sure
we
there's a
don't
lot
know.
of names for the devil.
Not
doesn't
all
matter.
names, yeah.
And it's literally selling their soul, but it means there needs to be a blood sacrifice.
Mm.
And the blood sacrifice is for the devil. And then I have seen people giving themselves over to, whatever. They did not look, they looked like flesh and bones, but
Mhm.
what was being expressed through them was extremely dark. And then they would be extremely violent, and there would be,
Wow.
they
That's the
would cause
first time I
death.
hear that.
Awful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awful.
And
The
that's the
thing,
price. That's the price for power,
okay.
because people get lured in. So I was first used on the level where, somebody was tested and tested and tested to see if you put him in front of a small child. By the time he was put in front of a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, as like myself, he probably would have already been put with a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old, where
Okay.
they would already have material on that person,
Okay.
So then he ends up with a very young child. Is he going to do it or not? Now, that wasn't already a question anymore. They knew that they were going to do it. So these men would then rape a child. That would be on tape. Now they're in. Now, once you have blackmail on somebody, you can make that go further and further and further. And you can make them do things they would never have wanted to do, but they're already blackmailed, you see. So then the next thing is the rituals. Then you're witnessing horrible things that are completely illegal. That's also going to be used against you. And then ultimately, you have to commit crimes like that as well. You have to commit violence.
Wow.
And that's how you will always be quiet. It's once you get into that secret club, the exclusivity of the secret clubs, you just don't realize what a dark hole you've stepped into. And these people just go farther and farther and farther. I'm pretty sure, and I even experienced that with some of my own perpetrators, that they didn't really want all of it. They really just wanted they were sex addicts, but they didn't really want the other part. They weren't violent people. But there's no choice anymore. Once you're blackmailed.
Well, what happens if they don't agree? Do you think they could get sanctioned or killed, or what do you think? And
Whatever. Could be
whatever?
anything.
Okay.
Yeah. It all depends on the group, and it depends on, but you've seen that happen. You've seen it happen. Of course, the thing is that there's a lot of blackmail material on people around pedophilia. And with the Epstein files, we got to see some of it.
Right,
But
right.
it can be enough. I don't think most people that end up in there do step out. Or indeed, the whistleblowers, they get killed.
Yeah.
And it's not ever in the news, so you'd never know.
It's a cover up. Speaking of the Epstein files, they're saying a lot of rumors that Jeffrey Epstein's is still alive. Do you think it's true, or is just rumors just to distract the public?
There's a lot of distractions. I can't say that I don't have an opinion on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
you don't know.
there's obviously a lot of distractions being sent out, including a huge war,
Right.
which
The war.
again, the timing of it,
Yeah.
the timing of it. Once you get into this material, there's a play by Shakespeare that was written in the 16th century or 17th century, where he writes about Pericles, king of Theseus.
Mhm.
He writes a play where it's exactly about that. The king has a secret. The secret is pedophilia. Theseus Theseus finds that out, then has to run for his life, knows that this king is going to start a war to protect his secret and to distract from the secret. I mean, it's all in this play. It's
Right.
it's all been written about from that long ago. It's been going on forever. It's just that in the Middle Ages, nobody entered those castles,
Mhm.
And it's just that now in the age of information, well, the information is coming out, and then there's a lot of control and resources that the people that have the money and power because of these things have tried to infiltrate, manipulate, so that the correct information and the truth doesn't reach people. But it's for each person to just go within and find out for themselves what is true and what isn't.
Right. There's also I wanted to ask you this question about um the rituals and all that because there I've seen it for a long time, especially online. That the elites, they have a certain blood they take from children, it's called adrenochrome. They have a certain they have to like um make the child like scared or something, like in a state of fear. They abuse the child and they take the blood, and it's like they take it like as a drug. It makes them feel good or something like that. I don't know if it's true though. Have you seen something like that when you were around these people, or it's just like a conspiracy? Is something like this not really true, or they're just saying it like that, or what do you think? Is this something that's really true, or it's just like we said earlier, a distraction, like just
Well, see, that's what I was talking about with the rituals.
yeah.
So, but I never heard that word.
Okay,
And
never.
I didn't necessarily see people like suddenly like they took a high drug. They were all high all the time. I mean, in these rituals, they were so high. And there was actually, they were euphoric during those rituals.
Okay.
People are at any rate completely drunk and high
Mm-hmm.
when they're usually in there.
Okay.
And yeah, though.
Okay. Okay, that's really a mystery. Okay, and you mentioned also mind control. How does it? Because the thing is, it's been around for many years now about the MK Ultra. All these mind control programs, just they have certain tactics and certain people they take. I mean, they target. And do you think in your case was it MK Ultra, or it was just a type of mind control to scare you, or just to put you in the state where you don't know what's really happening, or you've been drugged like 24 hour, 24/7? What do you think? What is it true, or in your situation, let's say like your situation, how was it? Like, how do you feel in that situation? Were you drugged? Were you fearless? Were you scared? Were you what was the tactics as well for the mind control thing? Like they brainwashed you, or they told you things like that's not necessarily true, and they
They
said you were
scream at you while they're hurting you. That's really what they do.
okay.
And that's one thing. But the MK Ultra program really was a result of, so there were a lot of horrific things done in the camps in Germany during the Second World War. And
Yeah.
after the World War, a lot of the scientists that were involved in these experiments were sent to the United States, and they under Project Paperclip,
Hmm.
and then also to Canada and also
Yeah.
to Australia. And they basically combined with what the Americans had been doing in secret as well, the mind experimentation that they'd been doing here, also torture based, and they combined the two, and that really became MK Ultra. And MK Ultra was that combination. I was trained in Germany, in Heidelberg, and I think it was a little different, just because I think it was maybe more the original German version of the mind control. And it was also extremely specific because a billionaire, David Rockefeller, he had a very specific idea of what he wanted to do with me. And so I wasn't being trained. I was given a sort of a general training. So when I say general training, it sounds very light, but I can assure you it's not light. It's based on, again, it's like torture. And in the pain, you're being screamed at. And the pain is done to dissociate, or you get drugged, you get hurt, and then you'll dissociate. And in this new blank state, you get programs put into you so that you can start to operate more like a robot. And then in between, I have these people screaming in my face while I'm being electrocuted that I am a robot, that I'm not more than a robot. So there was a lot that was done. I was impressed at how much I changed. So yes, I was brainwashed, and I was changing into this persona that David Rockefeller wanted to make out of me, to use me then ultimately as his elite sex slave. So yes, and I work with survivors. So I actually am continually stunned at people that come to me and speak to someone that they think, will understand them for, that often for the first time, telling me things that I recognize them. There's similarities in these programs. So whether it's MK Ultra or whether it's a German version, there's things that are done that are horrific to children. But what they do is when you get into a trauma state, then you're in a state where you're afraid for your life. And in that fear of death state, you go into fight, flight, freeze. And so actually all your brain activity reduces to your brainstem. And in that state, there's nothing online except your survival. And this first one is fight, and the next is flight. And the fight makes you aggressive. You get like these hormones making you aggressive to kill your opponent in nature. There's a death threat, there's there's an opponent, you kill the opponent, the death threat is gone. So that is then manipulated. The next is fight. So then the flight. So then running away. So then there's other hormones that make you really fast, alert, etc. You run much faster than usual. So all of these instinctual trauma responses are harvested and used and manipulated.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow. I wanted to ask you about every single day that's missing children, like the Amber Alert. Do you think that has to do with that, with the child? Is it like, let's say, organ trafficking, maybe, or maybe it's the situation that you've been through in the past? Do you think it's that, or is just like random, kids being kids going out there and trying to explore? And what do you think? Because it's happening every day. There's always people missing, especially children
You
missing.
should speak to some parents whose children were kidnapped or who've lost their, there's a lot of parents that when the partner is found to be a pedophile, that the justice system sides with the pedophile.
Mm.
And the parent that tries to protect the children loses custody.
Wow.
Yes.
You
So,
seen that a lot?
yes, I know several parents that are in that situation. And
That's crazy.
and then you have to listen to the parents whose children were kidnapped but never found any recourse and never got any screen time, you know?
Mhm.
There's indeed a lot of children go missing. And of course, we don't know if the official numbers are any reflection of what is truly going on, because in my
Right.
case, I wasn't a missing child.
Okay.
I was, as my parents were involved, but how many parents are involved across the world? There's many.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the real numbers of children that are being used and abused for a variety of horrific purposes. Because, see, I think what's so hard to believe for people is that these people that are involved with that are complete psychopaths. And yet they're being shown to you, a lot of the famous, the rich and famous ones
Right.
are shown to you as if they're better than us. They're really great people. And but in fact, they're psychopaths. So yes, they're playing a role, but they're actually completely devoid of any kind of inner sense of morality. And this is sort of this path, this is the path of the devil. Like, the more you fall for the temptations, the more you lose your inner voice of morality and the more you become a psychopath. So the truth is that that underworld is vast. That's all I know. I've seen horrific things that nobody should ever see.
Okay. Wow. And yeah, with all the witch, like you were seeing it like during the rituals, or it was like all in general, like what was going on, every day, every single day. Was
It
it like
wasn't just rituals. There
okay?
were children given to sadists that were in the
Yes, it is.
nobility in Belgium that also would be killed.
Hmm.
Because that's what they did, and they were provided with children to kill.
Okay.
No, I've seen horrific things that are
Yes.
not necessarily in this context of rituals.
Okay. Um, are they still around in Belgium, or it's like it's been collapsed, or are they still around?
Nothing has collapsed.
Nothing has collapsed, and they're still here, huh?
Look what's
Yeah.
happening with the Epstein.
Yeah, the Epstein, yeah.
Everybody knows, and now I think the next move is, okay, now you know, let's see if you can do anything about it, because
Right.
nothing's being done, is there? Not
No,
much.
nothing. Nothing has been done.
Nothing in terms of judiciary, nothing in terms of justice. Some
Well,
people have
except
lost
there
their-
was you said something that made me um kind of think, because you were saying they were partying. There was a lot of people like famous people partying and having fun, and then after the party, all the people will leave, and the people that stayed, they were doing all these rituals. But the thing is, um, it made me think of, I don't know if you heard of this rapper, Diddy, Puff
Oh,
Daddy.
sure, I heard
Yeah,
of them.
yeah, because they were telling the same story about he was doing like freak offs parties, and there were people, a lot of famous people, a lot of popular people. They were partying, getting drunk, having fun, and then after the party was done, then all the bad things were happening after the party. So it's same structure. So
Same structure, exactly.
yeah, so crazy. Do you really think that because he's the one, like he got a prison sentence? Do you think it has to be related with that, or it was something really different, or just to show to the public, look, we arrested this one guy? And what do you think?
Yeah, Right. Like Harvey Weinstein was arrested, but he got out, but he's probably coming out soon. And
And also
Maybe
the Andrew, the prince,
Prince
he got
Andrew,
arrested. Yeah, Prince
well, he
Andrew.
got arrested for a few hours, I think.
Yeah, for a few hours, and then they let him go, just to show,
That's
okay,
not, I mean, that's not a
yeah,
punishment, is it? He's now, he's been so careless. The same with Jeffrey Epstein. He was so careless. Like it
mm,
wasn't enough for Jeffrey Epstein. The program children, he had to then also get all these local girls to come and give him sexual massages on top of everything else that he was doing, because that was not his main thing.
right,
The local girls coming, the local minors coming to give him massages, from speaking with survivors that were with him from when they were babies. He
okay,
was a programmer. He was not, I mean, he was doing a lot of things, but obviously not only related to what he was caught for in 2009. So he was just so careless that he then got caught. And then it takes a few good people to really not give it up, because you see how much Jeffrey Epstein was protected by the justice system. Alexander Acosta said it's above my head. So, and then, which means that it's only, there's very few people that can decide to let him off the hook, which basically happened in his first arraignment in 2009. So he was very well protected. Everything shows that. Because the elements, the people that are in the network are positioned in the world so that they can protect each other. But if
right,
somebody gets super careless, well, then they can't, they'll try to protect them until they can't protect them anymore.
mhm,
So you can see with Prince Andrew as well, he's still being protected. But the rest of the family that are also, that as far as I know, also heavily involved, not just Prince Andrew, they have to now make him look bad.
so they could cover their,
except
cover
that
themselves.
he's not being imprisoned either, or is not being tried, as far as I know.
No,
So they'll protect you as long as they can, and then they'll throw you under the bus. And again, it's all about lies and lying. So in the end, the more people demand answers and demand justice, the more people will get thrown under the bus, because it's not like they really care about each other or they're really friends with each other. They're all
right,
relationships that are based on blackmail and holding secrets for each other.
mm, interesting. Um, and I see a lot of people, like especially young people, they dream about being a celebrity and all that, but they don't know how far you have to go to be that person, to be at the top of the pyramid. So there's like George Carlin, this comedian that passed away, said that he said a slogan here. He said it's a big club, but you ain't in it. So
That's right.
yeah, so yeah, so it takes a lot. It takes more than talent.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because
And
there's
now
just
there's so many people with talent, right?
yeah, there's so many people with talent. It's like they're not famous and all, and you
And they
see
work really,
people,
really hard and they never make it
they
because they're
never
not in
make
the
it,
club.
and you see some people on TV and they're so famous and they're not really that good. They're not really as much talented as the ones you've seen that work so hard. So it takes more than talent. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
It
that's the
takes,
thing is
it takes, for some, I mean, it's obviously it's not everybody, but it
mhm,
is out there as a temptation, for
yeah,
many. And then, I can imagine that for some people, they hold out and they have a career still. It's not like you can't have a career without them. But then
right,
maybe, and either you sort of quietly disappear, from the stage, or you cave in, you know.
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, you mentioned something that really made me curious about from all the interviews you made, like um let's say the interviews you made, like how do you think the media has handled your story? How do you feel? Like, do you think that once you made the interview and you, after, like, let's say you've done an interview, let's say last week, and at the end of the interview, you're like, I don't think this person is convinced by my story, or or they're trying to cover up, like, okay, well, okay, you're telling your story, but it's just like as an entertainment thing, or it's just telling your story like that. How do you feel about this? Because you've done a lot of interviews.
Yeah, well, I choose my interviews still. I
Okay.
do say no also quite a bit um, when I'm not feeling it. And the way I choose has a lot to do with, there's are some platforms that I will do. Like, I'm not political. And
Hmm.
because obviously, I was abused by politicians from all sides, so it's not like it's one side or the other side. So there's people that are invested in making it all one side. I'll go on a platform of one side, or I'll go on a platform of another side, depending on, well, the message is the world is not what you thought it was. It's really a difficult truth to sort of consider because it may change your worldview.
Hmm.
And that's a hard thing to do. It requires courage. So how can that message go out in the most sensitive and at the same time biggest way, like that many people receive it? So I did an interview with somebody who didn't believe me, but I didn't know that in advance. I was invited to come to the show. I didn't think that he was going to act like, you know, try to make me fail or something, throughout the interview. Um, but ultimately, you know, there were a lot of attempts to make me appear to be lying. And so it took a lot of presence of mind not to let him sort of run over me.
Hmm.
So I felt I have to defend myself. And that was Patrick Bet David, of course. I had to defend
Hmm.
myself. But with my clarity, actually, I think it really helped the cause. That interview where he tried to do everything to make me look like I'm not believable actually had the opposite effect. And then afterwards, no other big platform sent an invite.
No. Okay.
So I
Okay.
think that it's clear that because the media is controlled to a certain degree,
Yes.
and so the bigger it goes, the more controlled it is. So I'm aware of it, and I don't expect anything differently. And I have like little silly things happen all the time. And, like, I don't know, little silly things. Like I used to have a Wikipedia page, for example.
Yeah.
And when that first video went viral and suddenly everybody knew about me in 2016, then my Wikipedia page was removed.
Let me tell you something. I wanted to do a quick research with your name on ChatGPT. It's like they gave me a warning. They gave me like this red thing, like in writing, like, yeah, it's like you're banned or something, like you're shadow banned. They don't want people to know your name on ChatGPT. Imagine that. AI. Let me try it again. Let me try it again on my phone. Let me try it again. Let me see. Hold on, people. Let me try again. Let me do it again and I'll show you what's the response. Just to show that they don't want people to know this. Okay, so I'm writing on ChatGPT, who is Anneke Lucas, searching the web. Oh, it says error.
Error.
Okay, yeah. There it is. This content may violate our terms of use or usage policies. Did we get it wrong? Please tell us by giving this response a thumbs down. I don't know if you could see it here. People to see it. But
I
it's not
can't see
too.
anything actually. Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. When you bring it really close, then you can see it. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. This content may violate our terms of use and usage policies.
You see your name here at the
Who is,
top?
yeah, did it wrong. Yeah, thumbs down.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, wow.
Oh, it's like you're really shadow bad. And I really thank you for doing this interview as well, because I really wanted to speak to someone who experienced that. It's a really serious, situation. And I really thank you for accepting this interview.
It's my
And
pleasure.
yeah, and let me see here. Let me see if I have anything else here. Um, yeah, since you're from Belgium, do you think Jean-Claude Van Damme is aware of that? Silly question, but
I'm sorry, I can't say,
okay.
I want to keep it mostly to my own experience and what
Experience,
I've
okay, yes.
observed and,
Be respectful.
and experienced myself, because otherwise I'm just out there like any other talking heads.
You're right.
And I don't think my opinion's very important, to
Right,
tell you
right.
the truth.
I
I think my
understand.
experience and my witnessing is important. And then I can speak about what I actually know about. But when it comes to opinions, I don't
Yeah, it's
think
your
my
opinion, yeah.
opinions matters.
Manners, right, 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 right. Okay. Because you're from the same
Sorry.
country, so
But
no, it's okay. I
like
just wanted
him, I
to.
live in the United States and left Belgium in 1981.
Oh, okay.
Yes, probably before you were born.
Yeah, before, yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
born that year.
So I left Belgium as a young adult. I mean, yeah,
Okay, that's
18
great.
at 18 years old, I left Belgium, and
Okay.
I've never gone back.
Oh, you don't have any family members living there?
Remember my family?
No. Oh, you don't.
What
Not
they
like
did?
visiting your memory. You're visiting. Oh, yeah. After what happened, I guess you trying to like stay away from them.
Well, my mother is dead. Now
Yeah.
I did, as I said, I did forgive her beforehand, and my
Okay.
stepfather is dead. So, I mean, no, I mean, I was in contact with my family after I left, but I wasn't living on the same continent.
Okay. But they were not looking for you, or you have you
No, I
did.
wasn't, I didn't run away.
Okay.
I was 18, and I
Okay.
had left home when I was 15.
Okay.
So, no, I was in touch with my parents, but I was not there.
Okay. You was not there. Okay. What was the other question? Oh my God. I had a question here on my mind. Oh, um, yes. Have you, like, you putting all, your story out there in the to the public? Have you got any like threats from people, like, emails or phone calls maybe, or in person, saying, "Look, it's enough is enough. Please don't tell your story. And
Sure.
we'll leave you alone." Yes? Okay.
Well, I had death threats.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then other things more like harassment,
Harassments.
like
Okay.
people showing up my door, and but weird. But the death threats are not like an email, obviously not.
Yeah, yeah. Email, because
Network,
it's in writing. It's in writing, so it's
this is the
really.
network. So
Of course, yeah.
so it's done in a way that I could not, if I went to the police, I would have nothing to show them.
To show them, right.
But I definitely have had death threats, and there were a lot around not naming people. So then I named them, and then I wasn't killed. So we just keep on going. I mean, they wouldn't start by killing you. They would start by trying to discredit you, or and you can be discredited in many different ways. You can be discredited if suddenly I'm I'm a big, I follow a politician, and I'm a big supporter of a politician, and I'm also a survivor. Then if I'm politicized, then that can discredit me for all the people that don't vote for that politician, you see?
Mm.
So it's that there's many ways of discrediting you. So far, none of the temptations that have come my way in that sense to pull me this way or that way have worked. And now it's very much about not getting my content out, not really getting
Okay.
my content out. But it goes out in a grassroots way anyway. It just doesn't go out through the big channels in general.
Yeah, the big channels, right. Yeah, because I know after I release this interview, I might getting, it won't go. I hope not. I would like people to see it, a lot of people to see it, but um,
You
I don't
may get
know.
a lot of, you may get some, depending, but you may, most of my interviews get very nasty comments.
Oh, okay.
People say she's a known fraud, and then, like they have
Yeah.
things, and, or they say, has she had any proof? And a lot of these people, these are people, a lot of them are in the network,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just helping out in that way to try
Right.
to create doubts, because they're usually lies mixed with truth.
Right.
Or they're very, very vulgar. They can be very
Mm-hmm.
vulgar, like, oh, she's a known
Vulgar.
liar. That means
Yeah.
nothing.
I see that a lot,
Yeah.
especially during the pandemic.
Uh,
Yeah. It was an
so there's a
IQ
lot of
test.
that. There's a lot of that. So you may get that. Again, different. It depends. It depends.
Oh, it depends, right? Um, okay, no, the death threats and what are you planning right now? Are you just gonna do like selective interviews, or are you currently trying to, put a documentary maybe, or a new book, or
Yes, I'm actually
yeah.
working on a new book,
Okay.
and that is so I have been documenting my healing journey for the last 15 years. And I've currently, this is in my blog. So when you go to my website, which I hope you will post in with the video
Yes, of course.
description,
Yeah.
you'll see my book, and then you'll see my blog. And this is, for the moment, this is all free content. And it goes back to my first article from 2014 is in
Okay.
there. So I'm creating a book from these posts. So I've been editing that, and I love to write. So I'm very happy right now. And then I'm gonna publish the first book I published was in Belgium, and it was a story called The Deaf Musician. It's based on what happened when I met my biological father when I was 18. That book was published in Belgium, but it was written in English, and so I'm going to just publish it in English.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm working on yet another book together with a group of people that we did. I taught a workshop to a group of people in Los Angeles, California, and we kept coming together. And we're creating a book that is really to help people navigate just exactly what's happening right now in these times. Like, help people when, okay, so you realize that this may be true. So this is really unsettling. So what can we do now? And here's what we have done. And here's, so we're writing this book in a group, and it's an exciting project as well. That's hardcore, that's called. And then what I really do more than anything is I see private clients, a lot of them survivors of extreme abuse. And then what I also spend a lot of my time doing is teaching the unconditional model that I created, this healing modality that I created, and I teach it. a way to look at power dynamics, to recognize it in the world, but also to recognize how we, with our own unresolved trauma and projections of power, giving our power away or projecting down on people, how we participate without realizing it. And so it's using our projections as a lens into our own unresolved stuff. And so I teach workshops on my model online, and all of that's
Oh,
on my website.
okay, that's great.
So I'm not
Yeah,
so
so
concerned about the interviews. If the invites come, then I may say yes, so I'm
okay.
happy to do this interview, and
Yeah, me
otherwise I'm
too.
not really worried about it.
Okay, that's great. Um, and also a really important thing I would like to ask you, since you suffered a lot, um, if you could give us an advice, because you never know who's watching. So, any advice for people who's been trafficked, who's currently still alive? Do you have an advice to give them?
Absolutely. Yes. I hope that I myself am a great example of that healing is possible and that really anything is possible. And for those that may be trapped, or that those that may be, just thinking about getting out or just getting out, it's very scary, and it can be overwhelming, and when you start healing, it may seem too heavy to face. But the truth is that there's a lot of resources right now. There's a lot available. Just even on my website, there's a resources page where there's a lot of free resources, a lot of peer support groups that already exist. There's really a lot that can be done right now. And so there's great hope. And if anybody needs to reach out, then of course they can do that.
Okay, that's great. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people going through this. You're not the only one, of course. You're not alone. And also, that's the reason why I wanted to do this interview. You've been you've been really courageous. Sorry, that to tell your story. So maybe seeing other people seeing you telling your story, maybe it will um how can I say it inspire people to speak up and expose certain things that we don't really currently know right now. So because we can't rely on unfortunately mainstream media
That's
because
right.
it's controlled and everything, and they
Or
control the
alternative
narrative.
media is also controlled.
Which one? Oh yeah, social media. It's social media. It's let's say it's television part 2. It's the new
Yeah,
version of it's the
that's
new
right.
version of it. It's the new version of it because it's the algorithms. The algorithms
Right.
control
That's
what you watch,
exactly.
and they listen to your calls. Like they listen to your voice, like your conversation. Even you're not even using it. You're not talking to anyone. I remember when I was talking about I was craving for some chips. And for some reason, when I went to Facebook just to see what's going on with my friends and all that, if there was any events or anything, and I see a lot of ads of chips. I'm like, what? I just said that I will like I was craving for some chips, and I'm getting all these commercials, those
It's creepy.
Doritos, and
It's so creepy, isn't
it's
it?
crazy. It's like I don't know. It's like me. Like lately, I've been thinking about, look, maybe I need to get rid of this phone because it's surveillance.
It is surveillance, absolutely. We're all
It's
being surveilled
crazy.
all
It's
the
like
time.
why we're using it. I know where it's really it's easygoing and everything, and you
Makes
could
life easier, that's for sure.
yeah, it makes life easier and all that. But like, what's the price of it? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's this thing they're putting out there, like the digital ID that they want people to use like their IDs on electronically, and there's
I
the
think Canada's a little bit even farther ahead than the United States in that, right?
it's crazy, and they
Yeah,
want
we don't want digital ID, and absolutely, and everything, then every move, everything that we buy is controlled.
it's every control, right, and they want to put the digital money, cash, digital cash. So they want to get rid of cash. So there's no privacy. So whatever maybe if you purchase something, they'll just say, "Oh, I don't want you to purchase this. You're not allowed to get it." It's like, I think people need to be aware of what's going on right now. They have to be really, really, they have to pay attention right now, because if we don't do anything about it right now, I'm telling you, in the next 5 years, this we won't recognize this world we're living in right now.
Those are the people, by the way, that are involved in this network. I just want to say that, because
Oh,
let's
okay,
not
okay,
forget the reason that these things are happening, and that we're being driven to this global tyranny,
right.
is
It's
because
tyranny.
of the
It's
very
pure tyranny.
people that are the psychopaths, that are also raping children, that have no qualms, that will have no morality, that don't care about your life at all. Those are the people that are the same people responsible for the things that you're describing, that we're all in a way affected by their greed, by their insanity. We're all affected by it.
Right. And we need to be aware.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm doing this podcast.
Thank
I'm
you.
trying to get like the most whatever controversial or shadow ban, and put them in the interview, and we talk about it, and we try to put it out there. And if we don't do anything about it, it's gonna get worse and worse and worse, and it's not gonna be a good thing. And for future generations as well, they're gonna suffer a lot. And if we don't do anything,
That's
so we
right.
have the responsibility. I'm not saying to go out there and be violent or kill
No.
someone. It's just
Right. Not
do
their
not
way.
comply. Do not
Right.
comply to
Not
their
comply.
thing. So that's
Not
it.
following
That's
their
all
way.
you have to do is
That's
do not
right.
comply. Okay.
Enough of us have to not comply, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it won't work. It won't work. If we
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I thought I always thought everything is negotiable except children.
Okay.
So I thought, with the Epstein files, I thought, well, I always believed, when people realize that these people are actually pedophiles,
Mhm.
then it has to be over. Because how can you now go vote if you know that these politicians are involved in pedophilia,
Pedophilia,
that they're
right.
possibly pedophiles? You can't go vote anymore because everything is contrived.
Right.
And it's more than corruption. It's this complete, it's a mafia. So
Yeah.
how do you then, so how, yes, it's not violence, certainly is never the answer, but not complying and not voting and not, or demanding that whoever we vote in, at least on the local level, will do what we want them to do.
Okay.
For example,
Yeah. That's the reason why we need to talk about it and discuss about it. And it seems like people don't know, because I'm not trying to be mean to people or anything. It's just a lot of people are under mind control. So whatever authorities say, certain things, they obey, and they think it's right. It's for convenience or anything, but it's a trap. But they don't see it that way. But the thing is, sometimes you have to say certain things just to, let's say, encourage more critical thinking. I'll say.
there you go.
Yeah, because the thing is everyone thinks the same, and everyone's saying the same thing because they heard it from this popular person or this popular guy, or and it's not necessarily true, because there's an agenda behind it.
There you go.
And yeah, so it's really sad, and I know a lot of people has waken up, of course, and but there's a lot as well. They don't know what's really going on, and hopefully they wake up, of course. And yeah, we'll see in the next 5 years and see what happens. And I hope it's a good thing, I'm a little optimistic, but I think that if we get together for a good cause, I think things could change and for the better. And they're trying to make it think. They're trying to make you think that nothing will change and
That
they're
we're
under
powerless.
their control, and
Yeah, they
but
try
it's
to make
not
you
true.
feel that we're powerless. Like, say,
Right.
here's the Epstein file. See what happens, but you can't do anything about
You
it.
can't do anything about it, right?
And I think we have to understand that we're not powerless at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at the numbers. I mean, how many are there of regular people with a heart, with morals, and how many are there of the psychopaths that are trying to control us?
Right. Yeah, it's
That's all that
crazy.
matters, that enough people really are aware and don't take it anymore and take our
Yeah.
own power back.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up because
Yes,
it's been like an hour and then 20 minutes. Mm, I always do this when I do an interview to my guests. I always ask them a message to the public. What message would you like to give to the public? It could be an inspiring one. It could be a awareness. It could be anything. If you have a last message to give us before we end the show.
sure. Well,
Yeah.
I feel grateful. I really feel very grateful to anybody that wants to open their mind and heart to this reality because it is difficult. It is difficult to fathom. And then, it does take courage to sort of revise your own worldview. And so anybody that is open to it, and I just feel very grateful.
Okay, great. And thank you also for accepting the interview. Uh, I kind of like forgot because I never got a response. I got it like 3 months later. So
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Thank you, because I really wanted to do an interview with you because it's something really serious and it's really going on. Right, it's going on right now, and they're still doing it, and they're probably not do they're probably doing it less in Western countries, but I'm pretty sure they're doing it like in poor countries, and because they're more vulnerable, and I'm pretty sure they're doing it, and they're still doing it, and we need to expose it. It's wrong
It's
because kids
happening in
are.
wealthy countries as well because
Yeah. Okay.
nothing has
Okay.
really been done to stop it.
Right. Okay. I thought like they trying to change their plans and say, okay, they know it. Let's go to a different country, to a poor country or third world country, and do our mess.
I think that's what the Epstein files are showing us, that it's happening right here.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And the Diddy. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I choked. Um. Well, thank you again, and
My pleasure.
and for the audience, I hope you learn something. Sorry.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. And for the audience, I hope you learn, and hope you and all the people that have been through the same situation, um, speak up, or seek help. Of course, like she said, there's a lot of programs, there's a lot of things that you could get help, and just seek help. And if you're having issues, I know there's a lot of people out there. They're trying to like. There's a lot of suicide. There's a lot of all these awful things going on. People are depressed and all that. But there's a lot of things that you could do to help your situation. Maybe just talk to someone that you trust. And maybe you could find some solutions, or go to a different like you said, there's you offer something, right? Like for people who's been through the same situation,
Yeah,
right?
if you contact me, so you can even book, I think, from the website. My assistant has that set up, that you can book a session with me for 2 hours, like an introductory session. Absolutely. And you can always write, and then my assistant's going to get the message. And then depending on, I will reply to you. And it's kind of made clear, try to make clear when you go to the contact page of the website, it's try to make it clear what I can do for you and what I can't. Because I can't, obviously I'm not,
Right.
I can't do a lot of things because this is a very big subject, and often
Yes.
people are in crisis situations and everything. I can't usually do much in those situations, but I can certainly come on the back end and provide support.
Okay, but is it like a consultation or is
Yeah,
just
you can have a
like
consultation with me, or you can just write and just
okay,
whatever it
okay.
is, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, that's great. And your website is AnnekeLucas.com.
Yes,
Yeah, perfect.
ANNEKELUCAS.com.
Yes, perfect. And also for the audience of course, get the book as well. You could get it on Amazon. Um I think you could get it on your website as well, right? You sell it on your website. Okay, and you could get the book. And do you have any social media accounts, or you stay away from
Sure.
it?
The usual.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Facebook and all that. Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
your pages. Okay. And for the audience, I hope you learned a lot of things in this interviews, and I'd like to thank everyone for supporting me and everything. I know it's not easy, but it's a it's a it's not an easy road, but I'm still here, and I'm still going to continue, of course. And we'll see what happens in the next, like, there's something that really made me think about the situation that we're talking about, the digital ID and everything, and hopefully something gets better out of this. Hopefully, I'm really optimistic about this, but we'll see. And everyone, if you need anything, just let me know. Write me an email, send me a DM. I reply all my messages. And I'd like to say thank you again. Okay. Peace, everyone. Okay. Thank you.